Hey, my name is Eric. I'm mourning the loss of Dolores, which is the nickname for my DJI Mavic Drone. This is a video to share with you guys the experience, what it felt like to watch my drone land in the Gulf of Mexico last night, 200 feet in front of me after coming back in a strong headwind. So let's check this out. I'm going to replay the flight from the DJI Go app. I screen capped it, and then I'm also going to share with you guys some data from Healthy Drones, and as well as any kind of flight data or records I was able to pull up from the DJI Go app log. Alright, so I take off right before sunset. It is kind of windy outside. I checked the weather forecast from the Weather Channel. I checked the UAV forecasting apps, and everything said it was good to go. It was only predicted to be about 11 mile per hour wind out of the east. And I was like, I've flown in higher winds than that before, up to 40 miles per hour. I've hit with the Mavic, and in sport mode it's never been an issue. But in today's case, the wind was straight out of the east, blowing to the west, and I was flying in the west. I was heading towards the sun. So I take some pictures, and I'm filming, I'm videoing, trying to see what's down on the water out there in the deeper parts. And I'm having no problem getting out there. The horizontal speed is 38 miles per hour. The DJI Mavic is just traveling. And I go out deeper than I've been before out here in the Gulf of Mexico. So I'm out scouting for fish, and I'm scouting for different things. I have no issues with signal loss. I have no issues with controlling the yaw movements or the roll movements of the Mavic. Everything's working just great out there. What I did was I took the switch and I flipped it to sport mode, which disables the forward sensors and allows the Mavic to travel faster. It's up to 32 miles per hour or so, depending on the winds. Then I turn around and I realized the Mavic is only going about 5 miles per hour. So I'm like, okay, this is common. I've seen this before. In this case, I was dealing with up to a 40 mile per hour wind straight at me, and I'm at 200 and something feet right now. I decided to try to descend and see if I can get it to go faster, if I can get below the wind, and I couldn't. The wind was just as bad down there. I'm heading the most direct route back home that I can. Meanwhile, I was trying not to panic on the beach because I feel that this battery is draining faster than it should. But regardless, the motors are spinning and the thing is in flight. So at this point, things are really going wrong. I'm below 30% battery. I've set my controller up to return home at 30%. It initiates the return to home, goes to 150 feet or 30 meters, and it's trying to come back. But I noticed that the speed is no faster there than when it was if I was, already flying it manually. So I have no idea why, but somebody decided to talk to me at this point on the beach, and I was trying to focus on the Mavic. So here's a beautiful fact about the DJI Mavic Pro, and any DJI drone really, is at 10% it automatically lands. It will force itself down the landing. Now I prefer to have control over that, especially if I'm over a safe area like water and my drone's about to land in the water, but unfortunately there's not a whole lot I can do. I did try to raise the drone back up by pushing up on the left thumbstick. I was able to gain some altitude even though it was forcefully trying to land. I was counteracting that, still trying to go forward towards the beach, and it's total panic. I mean, my controller's beeping. Got the low battery warning, I got the return to home warning, I got the automatically landing warnings. I got 7 different warnings going off on my controller. People are walking around me, and I'm trying to keep my cool because I know right now that this Mavic is not going to make it. But I still try anyway. I'm still pushing forward. Still trying to climb because it wants to land. I'm thinking if I can get some kind of altitude, I could trade that off for, you know, the horizontal distance. But no, the auto landing is forcefully coming down. Even though the battery hit 0%, it's still coming forward. It's still operating. And I believe that if this auto landing feature wasn't a factor, that I could have gotten it even further and probably walked out and picked it up or caught it. Should fucking do it. Oh, you gotta be kidding me. This is... Well, I gotta say, it's a very humbling experience to see such a beautiful piece of equipment fall right into the water like that. I believe it had enough power to maybe, you know, get another 100 feet or two, and I could have saved it. So after the drone crashed, I contacted a buddy of mine who's got a kayak, and we went out about a half hour later as the sun was already down and it was getting dark. Even the brightest flashlight and having the position marked where it went down, we couldn't find it. And water was cold, and there's sharks. There's definitely sharks out there, and there's definitely big stingrays and all kinds of other crazy things out there. So I had to make a safety decision to abandon the search and rescue mission during the night. When I saw 70% at 6,000 feet, I know that the DJI Mavic could cover that in no time. That's a 5-minute flight back home, but the wind was just punishing this thing. And, you know, unfortunately, I watched it land in the water. I shut my controller off. I turned around, I walked over to a picnic table on the beach. I sat down, and an older couple sitting next to me, they were sitting out there, and they asked, what happened to your drone? We liked watching you fly that thing. And I was like, well, it landed about 200 feet off the beach here, and it's sitting out on the sandbar. So I had to let it go, and I had to keep my cool, and I had to like totally process what just happened, because you know, these things are so amazing that you can get attached to them really easily, and I missed flying already. So